Good evening, everyone. My name is Midnight Cloud, and tonight I am your host. And today I have some 3 scary stories from the same place, which is a 1950s church building, but it got demolished around the 90s due to some incident, and it's called the San Mateo Church. Unfortunately, just some things are happening there, so they just decided to just shut it down. A lot of explorers still obviously check this place out. However, the ones who did regret doing so and saw things they wished they hadn't. So our first story is about a girl and her friends when they were 17. I never believed in ghosts. Not really, but I also wasn't dumb enough to go looking for them. Unfortunately, my friends back in high school weren't so smart. There was 4 of us, me, Nico, Andre, and Joanna. We dared each other to visit the old San Mateo church. You know, just to be edgy. It was already abandoned for years, and people always said they saw shadows moving around inside. So we brought flashlights and snuck in around 9 p.m. The air inside was heavy and very, very dusty. You could still see the outlines where the pews used to be. The crucifix was gone, but the confessional was still there, seemingly that the termites had eaten through it. And Andre, trying to act tough, said, as I translate this to English, maybe there is still a priest lingering, or maybe a nun waiting for you to sin, and he laughed. Then we heard it. There is a whisper from inside the confessional. Bless me, Father. And we all froze. I swear it. I heard it. Andre's flashlight flickered, so we thought maybe someone was messing with us. So he stepped closer, laughing nervously. He opened the confessional door. No one was there, but the seat was moving slowly, rocking as if someone just stood up and left. Joanna ran out and I followed, but Nico had stayed. A few seconds later, we heard him scream. He said, according to him, that there was a woman in a nun's habit behind the screen. Her face was pale, her eyes were hollow, and when he blinked, she was gone. Nico never went to a church again, not even for his grandmother's funeral. Oh my god, that was so scary. I hate imagining things like hollow eyes, but I have to edit this video and I'm not sure if I kind of want to put that imagery. I don't know, we'll see how I feel. And I'm scared, but that is so unfortunate though. Poor Nico. I hope he had recovered. I don't know how long it has been, but wow. He was just so traumatized to the point that he couldn't even go to his grandma's funeral. Like, oh wow. Poor guy. Okay, so for our second story is told by a guy that goes by Joel. I used to work as a delivery driver back when I was younger, around 20 or so years old, and I am 38 now. One night, I got a last-minute call from my boss to pick up some unused pews from a nearby town. They were being donated to a new chapel, and guess where they were stored? San Mateo Church. I don't know much about this church except that they had it closed down for reasons I did not bother to ask. It was already dark when I arrived. The gate was unlocked, but there was no one there, just an old man waiting by the truck who gave me the key to the back room. He didn't even speak, just nodded. I went inside past the altar and it was quiet, but I could feel something watching me. I told myself it was just nerves. Then I heard the sound of footsteps, dozens of them, like a procession, and I turned around. They were a whole line of priests and nuns walking down the center aisle, slowly, silently, in perfect formations, but their faces were blurred, like old photos left in the rain. I could see their outlines, robes, rosaries, but their faces were just smudges of skin. One priest at the front suddenly stopped and turned his head towards me. I ran, dropped the key, jumped into the truck, and drove straight home. When I asked my boss about the old man who gave me the key, he said, there was no one else there. You were the only one scheduled. What he said felt like I was sent to another realm, because the next day I felt sick and I did not recover until a week after. When I felt better, I told my boss I quit. I don't think I can do another truck driving after encountering what I did. Oh my god, that is so chilling, the faces. blurred. The last story I literally said I hate scary faces, but this one, what if they do not have face? It's kind of like Slender Man all over again. And side note, I do love Slender Man. I love creepypastas, and I was wondering maybe I should read creepypasta in the future. I don't know, just to relieve some memories. Definitely Slender Man was one of the top tier that I read and read and read every single time when I was younger. And here we are, me reading to you guys about horror stories. However, I'm actually having fun. So, for our third story and last story, and I had just broken up with my boyfriend and I was staying at my cousin's place for a while. She lived near the San Mateo church. One night, I couldn't sleep, and it was around 2 a.m. I went outside to smoke with her and heard something strange. Church bells. I looked at my cousin and said, as I translate it to English, "Is there a mass at this hour?" She just stared at me and said, "There is no mass going on. That church is dead." But the bells kept ringing. So being the idiot that I am, I decided to walk over and closer just to see. The gates were shut, but I could see the belfry, and the bells were swinging. I swear, there was no wind, no people, just moving. Then I heard singing in Latin. Faint, but it's clear like a choir. And I saw a candlelit flickering inside. So I thought, oh, someone must be there. Upon a closer look, I saw them. A group of nuns kneeling at the altar. However, it was so dark, and they were all facing away, chanting. One of them slowly turned around. She looked at me, but I noticed her mouth was soon shut. I remember this very clearly. She raised a hand and pointed at me, and that was it. I ran. I didn't look back. I locked the door and threw away the cigarette I hadn't even finished. And since then, I don't mess with churches. Not the old ones, not the new ones, and never ever alone. I told this to my auntie, my cousin's mother, and she said quickly, "We have to get cleansed. Whatever you saw there was not human." Holy, it was so creepy. The first time I read this story was actually last night, and I was just too spooked. I had to stop, and for real, reading this right now, thank God someone is at home with me, because I don't think I can do this alone. You know, just the sheer comfort of someone being there is enough to soothe my nerves, because otherwise I don't know, it's too scary. The last horror movie I watched back in 2021 or something like that, and there was like 3 kids and their mouth was sewn shut. Creepiest thing ever. I could not get it out of my head for like days and days, and every time I come home at night I always like zoom, right away to my house, because I don't know, scary. But anyways, wow, thank you for being here. I don't feel so alone. Honestly, my hands kind of feel clammy, but I appreciate everyone who tuned in tonight. Please feel free to comment below, and if you do like me, subscribe and like. I would love you forever. And like I said, if you do have stories, please share them with me. And also, do check my Poshmark. I have some cool stuff there. So until then, I am your host, Midnight Clouds, and have a great night.